welcome to the first in-studio Red Couch panel here in Studio 818. We're here today to talk about what the next era of shopping looks like, and we've got some very special people here to speak to that, one of whom came from as far away as Charlotte, North Carolina. So I'd like to introduce first, this is Julia Bois. She is the Global Digital Marketing Manager at Levi's. In the middle, we've got Erin Neer. She's the curator of the Future of Shopping magazine on Flipboard, which has over 27,000 readers. And at the end, we've got Faisal Mirza, the Director of Marketing and Business Development at eBay. So it feels like something really big is happening right now in retail. What's most exciting to you as you think about the future of shopping? Julia.
Well, I think for us at Levi's, a company where a lot of our connection with our consumers is really through our brand, the future of shopping right now enables us to have a much more enhanced and personal connection with our consumers. So through the product stories that we tell, we're able to have a much more one-on-one conversation and really a deeper connection with those consumers. So where that goes, I only hope we'll follow very quickly, but working with a partner such as Flipboard really enables us to mix that brand storytelling and product integration in a really thoughtful way that I think allows us to expand our target a little bit and be more personal with each of the different consumer groups we talk to.
And how do you think of it at eBay?
So this is one of the most exciting times, I think, for commerce, and primarily because of the proliferation of mobile devices. I mean, now commerce is going to people, and when people have the inspiration to buy something that they either want or they need, we have an ability to bring them that product in a seamless and a frictionless way. So with a lot of our transactions actually moving more towards mobile products, whether it's your smartphone or your tablets, it just opens up this new opportunity to reach and create this like constant dialogue with your users, and it's just a fascinating time to be in commerce.
And Erin, your whole magazine is about future of shopping. Yeah. Tell us a little bit about what's in it and kind of the trends that you've seen.
Well, so I'm really, really, really interested in where retail's going because, like both Julia and Faisal said, it's a pretty exciting, fun time to be in the retail world, whether you're a customer or you work in it. Mobile and technology and social have really just turned retail on its head. They've crushed traditional models. Everything you thought you knew, you didn't. So that's kind of what my magazine's about. It's just flipping articles in there that I think, it kind of says what the future is, whether it be about mobile or in-store experiences being more personalized and more pleasurable.
And can you talk about how these devices are changing consumer behavior?
Sure. I mean, mobile and tablet are completely changing. I'm sure both of these guys would agree, but consumers have the ability to instantly compare and instantly look for reviews and results and better deals. You're also able to very instantly share the things you like and kind of amplify. If you will, I immediately post things to my husband's wall, and I'm like, I love this, and I'm immediately telling him, start building my wish list for Christmas. So I just think that consumers are super savvy, and they're super quick to look for more information, and having mobile and tablet just helps further that desire to search and to find and to get the best deal and to make sure that they're really confident in their purchases these days. So I think it's all about accessibility, really. I think that's a really a big point there.
I think mobile devices have transformed the retail environment, not just for the customer, but really for the retailer and the employee. I mean, how they interact with the customers is very different. It's more personal. It's really changing how we experience brands, whether we're right there with them or we're walking on the corner or waiting on the bus and looking and shopping and browsing.
Yeah, I think it's raised the bar. Consumers and their expectations now are so much higher. With the use of mobile devices, I mean, on one hand, from a utility perspective, I mean, the things that you may need to buy toothpaste and, T-shirts and things of that sort. You can find the best deal, but you also want it at the cheapest price, and you want it delivered right away, right? So that's one thing. And then, and eBay, we do a really good job from a utility perspective because we have such a broad range of inventory. Then there's the other part of it, which is the inspiration. Now with so much information at your fingertips, whether you're on your phone or your tablet or sitting at home watching TV, you have access to this information. You have access to these sort of experts or people that you look up to, and you can find that inspiration in a lot of different ways. So therein lies an opportunity to discover new engagement models, and really to think about how social plays a huge role in it. How do people actually really shop? Do they share everything that they want to buy? And then how much influence do they have in their sort of network of friends? And so these are all things that we spend quite a bit of time thinking about. I think there's a lot to learn, but it's going to be a fun journey.
And how do you think about the different social platforms and the ways people interact with your content?
I don't know if anybody has really cracked that nut yet. I mean, as I mentioned, I think there's a lot to learn. We have recently launched a platform called eBay 3.0, which is all based upon sort of social engagement and curation and inspiration. We have done quite a bit of work with the other social platforms, whether it's Twitter or Facebook and things of that sort, and really taking that and turning it into not simply a way to just sort of share the things that you want and that you love, but really turning that into actual business results is something that we continue to sort of test out every day. But like I said, there's a lot to learn there.
At Levi's, we're very involved in the social space, but I think that it's really important to acknowledge each of those platforms for what those communities resonate to and what works best there. So we've done a lot of, we haven't unlocked the secret to all of them yet. I mean, we're constantly pushing ourselves to think, what's next, what's going to make more sense, what's right for the consumer. But I think that realizing that you can't just blanket social media with everything, that the communities you build, they're responding to a certain action, information, and really tapping into those social communities for what they respond to is really important, rather than trying to be everything to everybody. So again, we're still looking into it. It's going to take us a long time, I think, I don't think you ever really should solve it. I think if you've solved it, you've got to start thinking about what you do to change it up. But I think it's important to tap into those communities for what they really respond to and not just assume that, any content, especially when you're with a brand, I'm sure you guys can vouch for me, but you become really close to that brand, and what you might think is really great and exciting might not be so exciting to the consumer. So it's checking yourself and making sure that what you're putting out there in that space makes sense for that community.
And Erin, as you curate around the future of shopping and these social platforms, is there a platform that sort of dominates your magazine, or what are kind of people talking about?
Flipboard dominates my Flipboard magazine. I guess second to that might be Twitter or LinkedIn. I guess I feel like letting your customers tell you what they want to hear and following their trends. So if you see that your community is sharing a lot of one type of content or a lot of one type of product, okay, well, that should be your key to say, oh, maybe I should make more of these, or maybe they should help me design this. And, you've really seen the customer kind of take center stage in that process and even in the design process for some brands based on what they've seen on social.
Yeah, and just to add to that, I totally agree with my colleagues here that we now have this unique opportunity to listen to consumers real time, and they're going to tell you what they think. And if you're not listening, I think that that's a bad thing. And so to be able to go out and engage with your community and really get that feedback in everything that you do, you have to take it seriously. You have to sort of change, the things that they don't want and keep the things that they do want. But that's another huge value of all of these different platforms. And with Flipboard, I mean, it's just another great way that we believe we're innovating that sort of commerce space. We're really excited about this partnership, and we look forward to seeing how our users are going to engage in this unique way and bringing commerce to the Flipboard platform.
But with all these channels to listen to consumers, how do you kind of create a consistent world-class brand experience?
Strong brand identity. And I think for us, a big part of that is really strong alignment with our internal creative team and ensuring that, at whatever touch points, if it's agencies you work with or if it's influencers that you're bringing in to speak on behalf of your brand, that you're really doing a due diligent job of ensuring that they're aware of your brand identity, but they're also linked strongly to your creative team. So we really, hammer into ourselves that it's absolutely necessary to ensure that you have that consistent oversight over what you do, so that you're always appearing the same, whether you're looking at just within the U.S. or even globally, and accounting for the nuances with your global consumers as well.
I say know your audience, know your story, stay true to that. You may have to cater the content depending on what platform you're on or what the audience is, but just knowing who you are and not straying too far from that.
Yeah, I think it's focus, right? Having a message that makes sense, that's simple to understand, and then being consistent. The one thing that I've noticed with other brands, and we're trying to implement at eBay, is that branding is not a short-term thing, right? I mean, it's something you have to keep with, and it's years and years of just like really building up that brand. It's not going to happen overnight.
Erin, you talked about the importance of good design, and indeed, good design is really integral now to having a healthy business. Can any of you guys share any stories where design impacted dollars?
I've got one super close to home, and it's actually it's happening today. So for holiday, we did. It was one of the first time, as I'm sure many of you know, Levi's is a huge brand. We've been around for 150 years. We've got mainline wholesale.com. We've got lots of different avenues that we market out of. But for holiday, we did a really strong partnership with our e-commerce team. We built some really innovative, rich media, really strong engagement, but also integrating product. And I think that the result that we've seen so far, as of like 4 hours ago, we're beating our goal. So I think that in this case, and I don't think it's every time that the brand should say, okay, we're all going for the same goals here. But in the case of holiday, where it's all about sales, we all got behind this same goal. And I think that the design really reflected that partnership. And I think what we're seeing thus far, this being our first big day of the year, it's already delivering on it. So I'm super excited about that. Go to iVillage or Pop Sugar and check it out.
For eBay, I had mentioned sort of a release that we had about a month ago, which we were calling eBay 3.0, and it was about design. I mean, the entire eBay sort of look and feel has changed over the course of the last couple months, definitely, but also the last year. It's just become cleaner. It's become sort of easier to find things. The use of big, beautiful pictures and visuals is very apparent. That's what consumers want now, and if you don't have it, you're going to hear about it. So we've actually invested quite a bit of money on design and aesthetics, and it's evidenced by sort of the new look and feel of eBay.
We see online brands going into brick and mortar and vice versa. How do you guys think about these shifts? Will there ever be an eBay store in the mall?
So we have an entire team devoted to retail innovation. And the reality is, the future of eBay, if you think about the history of eBay, when eBay started about 17 years ago, e-commerce was really the space that we play in, and we did a really good job in doing that. And I think that recently our mobile business has just skyrocketed, and so from an m-commerce perspective, we've been doing extremely well, and we feel we're in a good position there. But as we think to the future, the online and offline worlds, those lines are blurring. And so the real opportunity for eBay is not the $1 trillion in e-commerce market that's out there, but if you add offline to that becomes $10 trillion. And eBay is really well positioned to to go after that opportunity. And so we start testing with partners in the physical world, on the retail space. We recently did something with Toys R Us, where we had this huge sort of screen within the stores, where it's very interactive. You can go and you can search for an item, and it'll tell you whether or not it's in stock and what aisle it's in, and if not, then you can just order it and have it shipped to your home. And so there's not just one way to actually get into the sort of the real world or the physical retail space. I think there's a lot of different ways you can do it. Walking into a store with your mobile phone and using our Red Laser app to scan and check prices and things like that's another way. And then we start thinking about things like POS devices, right? If the workers within a store, the cashiers have a tablet and it's really dynamic, and there's a bunch of different options and services that enhance their experience and get them the product they want in the least amount of time. There's a number of services that eBay offers, and a number of businesses that we have that really revolve around that experience. So absolutely, you will probably see eBay in the real world. Another great example, real quickly, is eBay Now. And I don't know if anybody has sort of toyed around with eBay Now, but it's launched in a number of cities and more to grow. But that's our local offering, and that is literally using your phone, ordering something from a retailer, whether it's like Target or GNC or something like that, and having that item delivered to you within 1 hour. And it's not even necessarily to your home, but based upon the fact that you have your phone with you, it'll GPS locate you, and if you're sitting in a bar, it'll bring it right to you.
Erin, since you watch this space closely, what brands have you seen seamlessly go from online to brick and mortar or back?
Well, I'm loving and full disclosure, I'm wearing their product now, but I'm loving what Warby Parker's doing. I visited one of their stores in New York this summer. I was floored. I was amazed. I already love their product. The price point's amazing. But then to walk in, it's like, wow. They had color curated books, and it was really fun. There's a couple I hope will go in store, but I won't say who. And I think you're only going to see more because the store isn't dead. And I'm really, really happy that the store isn't dead, because it would be kind of a boring world if it were dead, at least for me. And who doesn't want to walk in and be amazed, amazed by the design? Or I was in the Levi store in Chicago this summer, and it was my first time in a Levi store, and I was like, this is pretty awesome. So,
Julia, I guess Levi's had the challenge of bringing this 150-year-old brand to online. How do you guys create a consistent language and design from physical to online?
I think, again, it's, about really close alignment with our partners. We're a huge company. We've got a lot of different, we have our wholesale partners. We also have our own stores. And then, of course, we have online. So I think, it's about knowing the brand. It's about making sure that there's that oversight from the creative team. I think that much like Faisal said, this retail, the experience is only becoming more enhanced. So ensuring that, if somebody's looking at your mobile site, and then they walk into your store and it's a completely different representation of the brand, you've got yourself in a little bit of a situation you have to explain. So ensuring that those partners are strongly aligned, but also ensuring that, your brand identity is kept true is extremely important for us.
And what would be your dream magazine on Flipboard, something that you'd want to read every day? Julia.
Peek behind the curtain. My dream magazine would probably be a combination of funny animal pics mixed with great shopping opportunity, mixed with my indulgent celeb news, and all in the most thoughtful way. So I'm like, ooh, funny animal pic. Oh yes, I want to buy that. My brain goes like that. So it's slightly schizophrenic, but I feel like that would be a great mix that would definitely keep me,
I'd like that.
dwelling for a while.
How about you, Erin?
So many of my dream magazines are already on Flipboard. I own an Airstream, so there's an Airstream magazine. And it's old. So I'm loving that. the gentleman that curates that, I'm just like, oh my gosh, I want to do this, I want to do that. I need another bank account or win the lottery. And also, I'm an Anglophile. I used to live there in England, and so you could just put a Union Jack as the cover of a magazine, and I'm guaranteed to subscribe to it and, plan my next trip. So.
I think for me, it would just be Flipboard knowing what I wanted to see, right? I mean, just having that data on what I'm interested in, what I like, and not necessarily because I sort of inputted those likes somewhere, but gathering those data sources from elsewhere and just knowing what I'm interested in, being very intuitive as to on that particular day, that morning, what do I want to know, right? Is it celebrity stuff? Is it sort of like tech news? And for it to just be easy and seamless and effortless. That's what I would want.
Can you talk a little bit about the magazines that eBay has curated for our launch? They're super interesting.
Yeah, I got a chance to look at some of the stuff earlier this morning, and we have a chief curator that we hired, whose name is Michael Philip Moskowitz, who was the one I think that was helping out with our curation, and is a very interesting creative guy, which is why we brought him on our team. And when we thought about the partnership with Flipboard and what that meant and what consumers would want, it's the early stages, and we're going to continue to learn from our experiences. But again, it's just taking a certain theme, and I saw that Michael did that, and just exposing people to the items that are on eBay that they may have not known were there, and doing that in a way that really engages people. And I think that he did a great job. And I saw some of the visuals that were on the site earlier, or on the service earlier. And again, I'm just really excited to see how people are going to react to all of that.
Yeah, we love Michael.
Yeah, he's an interesting.
Julia, how do you think about your Flipboard presence at Levi's?
Well, I think that, we've had a beautiful relationship with Flipboard, and I think that, I don't know where Dave is, but we love Dave. He comes to see us like once a month, wherever he is. Dave, shout out, woohoo! But I think, to be totally transparent, I think that our Flipboard presence, I think, a year ago it was amazing. We had this the first shoppable magazine. That was incredible. Last year, this year, fall, we tapped into the contributor feature, so that was really exciting. Our fall campaign was all about collaboration and connection, and having the contributor feature really allowed us to tap into that and to get people to speak on behalf of the brand and add to our sub-magazines. Where we are now, I think that, not to say that we're in an identity crisis, but we're a big brand and we're a lot of things to a lot of people. So what you'll see now is very direct. If you want to shop, you have your women's and you have your men's. And of course, we're featuring all of the latest holiday stuff, but we are very focused in that regard. And a lot of our other magazines are more about the core of Levi. So for example, the 501. I mean, there's a huge story behind 501 alone, and you could have a zillion photos in there just of the history and who's worn it. I mean, our products are all about, what you do in them and what you make them yourselves. So we also tap into a lot of DIY. People love to take denim and make it their own, and we are all about that. We love that. So I think where we are now is really in our roots. And where we could go, I think, is endless. We have some of our new collections launching Commerce in spring for the first time, so that I think that'll be really exciting to see how we can take some of those elevated lines and really infuse them into our presence there and shift things. So I think there's probably new things ahead for us, but I think where we are now, it's really on our roots. It's in our denim and in really owning that and staying true to that.
So speaking of holidays, can you give us some tips? What are some hot items and trends that people should be on the lookout for?
Hot items and trends. Well, mine will be specific to denim and clothes. You can go a little bit more broad. So, well, speaking of the 501, so we are very tied to our standards and what's true to the brand. But this season, you're going to see a lot more wool for men and wool infused in products like 501. So first 501 shrink to fit wool. For women, it's more about shimmery fleeces and cozy sweaters, but also really focusing on the little black legging, which we all love and continue to wear so much. So yeah, I think that's what you'll see a lot from Levi's.
I won't be able to comment on black leggings or anything like that, but eBay, as everybody knows, is a platform, so we don't actually sell anything, but we enable commerce, and we bring buyers and sellers together. And so some of the trends that we're seeing from our retail partners and what we're seeing as far as being hot items that sell quite a bit, especially for this holiday season, are going to be electronics, and that's sort of obvious, but Android tablets, the new iPads, things of that sort are become super popular. And we have an entire team dedicated to eBay daily deals. And so they go out and they procure sort of these deals from our retail partners and serve them up on our site. And so as far as the tip is concerned, I would say check eBay daily deals on a daily basis, multiple times, buy a lot. But around Black Friday and things of that sort, we'll have some really interesting things going.
What do you think, Erin?
I should really direct this question to one of my 6 nephews or my niece, because the American Girl doll catalog showed up at my house the other day. I was like, wonder who sent that. I have no children, so one of them, obviously. I don't know. I want an iPad Air, so I think electronics.
So for the curators watching this, I'm especially interested in what you have to say, Faisal. How should they navigate eBay to find cool stuff to add to their magazines?
So there's a couple of areas on eBay where you can go and really get the full experience regarding just the inspiration and the engagement of shopping. One is eBay Today. So from our homepage, there's a link which takes you to eBay Today, and so there's 2 experiences. One is you can have your own personal feed, right, where once you start identifying things that you're interested in, then items start to surface. So for example, if you're an Oregon fan, which I saw right here, then you'll start to surface up like a bunch of Oregon items that you may have not known that we had. And then the second thing I would say is we have a list of collections and curators that are working on things, and our sort of celebrity curator that was at our launch was Pharrell Williams, and so he's got a very, very interesting collection of very cool things. He is a creative force, and some of the items that he has identified are truly, truly unique. So I think that's the beauty of eBay, right, is that most people don't realize that 70% of the items that we have on the site are actually brand new items, and 62% of those you can buy right away. But then we also have that long tail, right, the hard to find items as well. And so it's this interesting mix of pretty much anything that you would want to find.
How about for Levi's? Is the stuff on the homepage sort of the latest and greatest, or what would you recommend to curators who want to add Levi's products to their magazines?
I would say probably look more towards our social networks. I mean, I think that obviously if you go to our .com, you'll find a lot of the latest and greatest. But I think that in social media, you have the ability to be faster and quicker to release things. So I think that you're probably more likely to see things that are just getting out there within social media versus seeing them a couple days later on our .com.
Erin, how do you find content for your magazine?
If I like it, I flip it. Flipboard. Just browsing articles. I installed the little flip it button to my Mac. That made it really simple. I love that, actually.
And what can Flipboard do for you guys?
Well, Dave, let's keep talking. No, we actually have a joke because I think every time we sit down, it's like, were you reading my mind or were we reading yours? I mean, I think the possibilities are endless, really. I mean, I think every time we meet and we talk again, our eyes are even wider and the potential is even bigger. So, I mean, we had ideas we were discussing the other day about how can you shop looks versus single products, how can you, group and even curate a little bit further, more. So I mean, specifically, nothing totally pops out in front of me, but I feel like, together working with you guys, which we love, and we totally cherish this relationship. I'm sure that we'll, find something amazing right over the edge of the frontier.
I would say just continue to innovate with us. We have a number of people at the company who are really thinking about sort of the new thing, what's next, like where does commerce go, what does that experience look like. I think Flipboard is just a fantastic experience in itself, and then now that you add commerce to it, I think it becomes even better. But I think there's probably a ton of things that we could do together. So to answer your question, I would say just continue to engage with us. Let's sit down and think about what that next new thing is and work together on it.
As a curator, are there features you'd like to see? You talked about comments at lunch.
Oh yeah, I did talk about comments a little bit. Thank you. Yeah, I would love to have conversations or make them more prominent, I guess, around the stuff that I share or the stuff that other people share if I'm in their magazine, because that takes that article and that learning and that collaborating to the next level. So yeah, comments would be awesome. Feature. I tried, and then it died. Like I died or stopped. I didn't do well with it.
And what's coming up in 2014 for you guys?
We bought a stadium. I don't know if you guys have heard, but we'll probably have a slight shift, realizing that, but we're super excited. I think Levi is being the inventor of the blue jean. One of our pillars is innovation. We're going to continue to look for what's next, what's coming, how to show up and appear different, how to be work smarter, not work harder. So I think all of those things are things we walk through those doors every day thinking and really strive to achieve. So I'm not sure. We will be at a lot of sporting events. But aside from that, I think hopefully you'll continue to see us show up differently, more authentically, and just, be a more personal brand, somebody that you can really relate to.
How about eBay? What's coming up?
Yeah, I think there's three main things that we're going to focus on in 2014. One of which is going to be engagement, right? And really thinking about new ways that we can engage with our community and with our users, buyers and sellers, and make sure that they are provided with the best tools possible that make things the easiest for them, and really taking the friction out of that process as much as possible. So that's an ongoing thing that we've been doing and we'll continue to do in 2014. The second thing is local. So I mentioned eBay Now, which is a major initiative for us. We're going to continue to build that out, expanding into, I want to say it's by the end of next year, 24 different countries. Cities, 24 different cities. And so we're really excited about sort of building out that local opportunity and really trying to solve it. And the third thing for us is geographic expansion. So there's a number of different emerging markets that we want to go into and strengthen in 2014, which include Russia and then also Latin America and specifically Brazil.
And what's the future of Shopping Magazine?
Well, I'm just going to flip some articles. I'm really going to watch what you guys are doing. I think you're onto something, and it's going to be fun to watch this curated catalog by anyone or any brand. I think that's going to open some doors, especially for targeted ads, targeted marketing, for figuring out who's sharing what, maybe even influencing what products we share on social. So it's going to be fun to watch.
Fantastic. Well, thanks so much for your time.